P&R with Adam R. Welcome to 3P&R. I'm your host, Adam R. And with me on this episode is Chef Alfie Crescentini and Dr. McCoy, PhD Sean from AHA Pure Foods. Gentlemen, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Adam?
Good.
Doing great.
Glad to have you guys on again.
Glad to be here.
Focal points. I'm pretty sure you both know what it is I had for dinner today.
Leftover turkey.
No, God, no. I hate turkey. Toma Vita.
You had the Toma Vita today, Adam?
Yeah, well, pretty much every day. You can put it in the eggs. You can put it with your chicken. I mean, there's nothing you can't match it with. That's the beauty of it, right? It's got a good flavor. I put on everything.
Yeah, the last time we brought it down, I brought it down to him, Sean. I brought him down one of our 16-ounce jars of soup, and he inhaled that thing in about 10 and a half seconds. And then every time I talked to him after that, he just kept, Toma Vita. I said, so I just loaded him up with some Toma Vita just to get him off my back.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. I do have to work on my my omelet cooking skills. Non-existent, but I'm getting there.
You got the right pan?
Probably not.
The pan's the most important part for the omelet.
Yeah, absolutely. Do your eggs stick to the pan?
Yeah, they do.
You got all this equipment to do all these, these podcasts and everything. You got a beautiful setup, beautiful studio, and you don't have a pan to cook yourself a meal?
No, it's terrible. I mean, there's stuff here. I just don't know what's what. But, for the most part.
He's sort of working on like a late Black Friday lead-in of what he wants for Christmas.
Really.
Take notes.
So the next time you sit on Alfie's lap, tell him which pan you want.
That's right. I want a brand new pan and a bunch of Toma Vita.
There you go. We'll get you to make the best omelets out there, Adam. Only take a couple tries and you'll be an expert at it.
Yeah.
So here's a focal point for tonight. This is the question I'm getting the most. It's concerning heart health and how to reverse it.
Wow.
Okay.
Hey Doc, you got any questions? You got any answers to that?
Yeah. Exercise. So, as we've talked before, everybody thinks that, if they change their diet, their whole life's going to change. And usually they change their diet for 2 weeks. They don't see results that they expect. And then they go back to, the standard American diet. So, as Americans, we eat highly processed foods that are saturated with fat, high in sodium, lots of other chemicals that you can't pronounce the name of, that you're throwing in the microwave every single day because you're having that nice hungry man dinner and treating yourself right. And then you go to the doctor and he says, well, your blood pressure is really elevated, and at your age, your cholesterol is a little too high, and you're overweight, and you're pre-diabetic, and your foot hurts, you have low back pain. So all of a sudden, the years have worn on you, but it doesn't mean like shedding pounds. It doesn't mean we can't shed some of those risk factors and lower them. So exercise is always, the part of a healthy lifestyle. It doesn't mean that you have to go and buy an expensive bike or a mirror that talks back to you, or a piece of machine that coaches you. Walking's great. We're a very sedentary society, and we spend a lot of our time sitting on the couch, playing video games, doing our office work, watching football, go Gators. But, that one's allowed no matter what your health conditions are, is watching UF play. But we're just trying to get people to be motivated about exercise and, modification of their diet. Nobody likes change, but when you do drastic changes, generally they don't stick. So people do a drastic change and, quitting smoking cold turkey, the success rate is very low. The same thing with saying, well, I eat McDonald's every single day, or I switch my fast food restaurants like a Carousel. Now I want to get healthy. I'm going all plant-based, and I bought 10 pounds of broccoli and 4 heads of iceberg lettuce and 2 tomatoes. I'm going to be healthy. And what happens is that the meals that you're making aren't well balanced, and they're not satisfying. They don't satiate your hunger. They don't provide the amount of nutrients that you need. So the goal of AHA Pure Foods, and just like the Toma Vita, which has a whole lot of lycopene in it and is low in sodium, is if we're focused on cardiovascular health, brain health, general wellness, blood sugar control, vegetables are the way to go, not things with processed sugar, white cane sugar that's 60 tablespoons in 16 fluid ounces. They're a start on the pathway to good health.
Adam, Sean is right in a lot of ways, and the people that are listening to this broadcast, it. Sean knows it. I see Chris has joined us also. The people at AHA and most of the people I know. In 2012, I had an emergency triple bypass done, and I had a condition called a widowmaker. Now, the widowmaker is a very, very serious heart attack. They gave me less than a 1% chance of survival when I got wheeled into the hospital. Fortunately, there was a surgeon in there. There was a great heart transplant surgeon, and him and three other surgeons put me back together. It took 7 hours to put me back together. But when I got out of the hospital and I woke up in when I got out of the operating room, and I woke up in intensive care, the doctor told me, he goes, your body can't handle what you were doing. I was 270 pounds when I went into the hospital. You know me a long time, Adam. I was just a little round Italian dude. I was a chef. And I went into when I woke up, he says to me, he goes, your body can't handle what you're doing. He said, if you keep doing this, he says, you're not going to make it. He says, you will die. And he goes, and 2 reasons why you'll die. He goes, the first one is your body can't handle what you're doing. He goes, and the second one, he goes, when it happens again, I won't be there to save you. He says, but he said 4 words to me that I'll never forget. He said, it's your life, your decision. And after I got out of the hospital, I switched over to a plant-based lifestyle. It's not easy to do. It took me 2.5 years to change my lifestyle. But my cardiologist now said if I hadn't done that back in 2012, which is 9 years ago, he says, you wouldn't have made it. He says, so Sean is absolutely right. But being a plant-based isn't eating kale every day and, kale and broccoli and, having a tomato sandwich. That's not how it works. You have to balance your diet just like you do if you eat any type of animal proteins. You have to eat the right amount, like he's talking about your Toma Vita. Toma Vita is loaded with lycopene. Lycopene is a great antioxidant. It's loaded with avocado. Avocado is loaded with potassium. Potassium is very important for your heart. It's a heart health soup. That's what that soup was designed to do. So you have to figure out what you like to eat. Maybe what I like to eat isn't the same thing that you like to eat. Whatever you like to eat, and then design your lifestyle around that. Diets don't work. There's never been a diet ever that's worked. You have to change your lifestyle, but you have to figure out if it's worth staying alive and being healthy and having just being healthy on a daily basis. If you want to do that, you have to change things in your life.
I agree. And what Sean said earlier, there's a key element: exercise, be active.
Oh, absolutely. And you have to be active.
Yeah. And the other big thing too, people don't realize this. It's not going to happen overnight. Sean said it right. Even I take turmeric. I just started taking turmeric. I didn't see the effects of it till we're on month 3. That's just how it's got to be part of a regimen, and it's going to take time to work. It's not an overnight thing. Nothing.
It's not. There is no magic pill out there, Adam. You know that.
Yeah, it's really easy to get out of shape and to become unhealthy. You could almost do it just sitting in a chair and eat. It's easy to do. Getting healthy and getting in shape requires discipline, and it requires you to have an expectation of some time. It's not going to happen overnight.
Oh, for sure. No, like I said, when I went into that surgery, that's 270 pounds. Right now, I weighed myself this morning. I'm about 206, 207. I'm in that area. I run between 205 and 208 on a normal basis. I just fluctuate about 3-4 pounds. And I got down to that weight after it took about 1.5 years or 2 years to get down to that weight. And I've held that weight off for 7 years. I haven't gained or lost any other weight. I hold that weight consistently. So a plant-based diet actually knocks 65 pounds off of me, which is really important when it comes to heart health. You don't want to be carried around, 65 pounds is like walking around with 4 bowling balls around your waist.
Well, picture yourself as a car. The heavier car, the more the engine's going to work, right? And if you're heavy and your heart's doing more work, it's going to burn its lifetime out faster.
Yeah. I mean, and the people that are listening to this podcast, if they want any information, any type of guidance, suggestions, they can always, contact me, and I can get them on the right path of how to do this stuff. Between myself, Sean, and Chris, we can take anybody and put them on the right path to a healthy lifestyle. This isn't stuff that we've thought up ourselves. This is all the research that's been done for years and years by really, really smart doctors around the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Alfie used to look like, your grandmother's meatball. And now he looks like one of the restaurant food service meatballs.
What a picture.
And the same thing with me is that, I was up to 255, maybe almost 260 at some points because I didn't jump on the scale, and very sedentary lifestyle, working on research papers at the desk all the time. And then I'm just like, getting tired and sluggish. So, it took a long road for me also, but basically, over a year, I got from 255, 260 to 217, 220, and now I'm about 208, 211. But I still cheat a lot. I go off the plan.
You can make
what
room.
He's not telling you though, hey folks, what he's not telling you, he's 6'5". I'm 5'10". So 270 and 5'10" and 270 and 6'5". There's a little bit of difference.
Right. And another factor too, it's real simple. Just be active. That's all.
Absolutely.
Be active.
Every day.
And the thing is, that's part of the energy, part of the energy and nutrient density of the food is you're saying, I gotta, January 1st, this is the perfect time for this podcast, right? Because January 1st is coming up. I'm going to make a New Year's resolution. This is the year.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the year I'm going to look like Arnold when I'm done.
Losing weight. Back to my high school wrestling weight. I'm going to look great. Wife's not going to even know who it is.
Yeah, I mean, I treat every week like New Year's, right? This is the week. I'm doing it. Because I'm a weirdly ambitious person. With Toma Vita, and I was saying it earlier, and I guess I'm going to keep throwing it out there. I love that stuff.
Good.
You could
keep
literally
throwing it out there, Adam. I won't stop you.
Yeah, you could literally put it in anything. Anything.
Yeah, you can.
That's the beauty of it. It's got a good flavor. It goes. It's so for people to incorporate it into their diet is relevantly easy. Just add it to something. I don't suggest putting it on Twinkies. That's not going to work out.
I can tell you, I'll say this.
Chris Valdes.
Here's a big cheese. Hang on.
I will not get back to my wrestling weight because I wrestled at 98 pounds, and that would not be healthy for me on my frame right now. But what we didn't talk about, guys, is hereditary. You've got to discuss it. Sometimes there's elements involved that they're in your control. But if you have a history of heart disease or other ailments, you've got to take the right you got to make the right decisions on how to combat that. So this lifestyle would be tougher for some people, as it might be easier for others.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely true. And to go even farther, you should always consult your doctor, physician, whoever your primary care physician is or something before you start doing anything this radical, of changing your whole eating habits. Always check with your doctor first to make sure that your body is going to be able to handle the change. You do it slowly. This is not easy to do. You got to do it slowly, step by step.
Yeah.
Just not as slow as I'm doing it.
Here's a note for everybody, right? I say this a lot. There's a war we're all at. We're all in war, and it's against the clock. And the clock is always going to win. It's a matter of how you live in between now and the time the clock wins. Mm-hmm. And you got to make these adjustments, right? Like,
Absolutely.
like for me, like if you'd have told me Toma Vita was healthy when you first gave it to me, I wouldn't believe you. I think, oh no, it tastes too good. Makes no sense. And then some of the other like the lion's mane, that's pretty remarkable. I mean,
lion's mane is pretty remarkable.
So speaking to lion's mane, what direction you guys? Because here's what I know about lion's mane: cognitive health. And this is only what I know because this is what my purpose for looking these things up is purely for focus. So in that case, cognitive, powerful stuff. But what are some of the other benefits to lion's mane?
Lion's mane, the benefit. Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, just, on the cognitive, the function part, that's always what's generally touted, but pretty much all mushrooms are beneficial in some way. A lot of them contain beta glucans, theanine, a bunch of other micronutrients that, are powerful actors within your body, powerful activators, and allow you to have, enhanced performance by some measures that, are proven by peer-reviewed literature. But it's also just like the soup, the reason why we put things into soup. It's one of the oldest, most ancient ways of consumption. And mushrooms are, from our hunter and gathering times, these are one of the sustainable food products that our ancestors and, traditional Eastern medicine, they've always held mushrooms in high regard. So then I'll defer over to Alfie.
Yeah, the lion's mane itself, again, like Sean was saying, it's a brain food. It's for focus, it's for cognitive issues, it's for anxiety. There's a lot of studies out there that have been done, and will give you all these information. And these studies are done by world-renowned doctors. This isn't just some hack, trying to figure these things out. They also have a tremendous amount of antioxidants in them. They're good for again, I'm a chef. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. These are just things I've read that it's very, very good for, fighting cancers. All the mushrooms have in our lion's mane soup, we have 5 different mushrooms in it. So the people that put these things together are doctors and holistic doctors, naturopaths, MDs. They tell us how to put the soups together. We put the soups together, and the reason why we put the 5 different mushrooms in there is that when they react with each other, their healing powers is tremendous. And this goes back through years and years and years, decades and thousands of years of research that has been done on this stuff. So that's the things that they're great for your body by enhancing your brain power. They enhance the antioxidants, try to fight off disease. They really, really powerful immune boosting powers. And they're just an amazing little They're an amazing little product. Mushrooms are fantastic for you.
Not to mention the surprise of energy.
Well, also, Adams, where Alfie, when he designs the recipes, that the reason why we use specific components is because they, like you said, when they react together, they act as accelerators. So that what you might get from what you said before, you're taking turmeric. Well, the turmeric's great, but if you take it with black pepper, it's going to accelerate it by 1,000 times, Alfie?
1,000 times, correct.
Yeah, yep. I take this. I take a supplement called Active Atoms, and it has like the black pepper infused into it.
Okay, yeah.
Which that it's not a big deal for me. I put black pepper on legitimately everything. I don't know why I'm like that, but everything gets black pepper.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
No, black pepper is there's piperins in black pepper, and that's what activates the curcumin or curcuminoids inside the turmeric. And when they get together, it's like lighting a stick of dynamite. They just explode. And Sean might be able to do this a little bit better because I can never remember the name of it. But coconut milk, when you put coconut, there's a natural chemical inside coconut that enhances the powers of this mushroom. What's it called, Sean?
So the things that make it a little more synergistic when you're talking about the energy is that there's medium chain triglycerides. So these are medium chain fatty acids that they go basically right into your mitochondria for energy. So you've seen people do, coffee bombs and other things like that. And you'll see MCT oil and people are taking tablespoons of it to give them energy, bulletproof coffee type of prep for individuals that are on different types of diets. this all comes from the medium chain triglycerides from, coconut oil.
Okay. Yeah, that's the reason why we put our lion's mane is made with coconut milk.
I would not have noticed that on flavor. I don't know. Maybe I don't have a powerful palate, but look, I like the soup. I just, until you mentioned coconut, it didn't even dawn on me it was in there.
Yeah, it's in there for sure. It's in there. Speaking of lion's mane, Chris and Sean, should we tell these folks what's coming up in the near future?
I think we should, but I got some feedback from my special taste tester here tonight.
Yeah.
She's not with us. She's actually inside. I'm outside having my plant-based meal.
What's your plant-based meal, Chris?
Beer and cigar.
Yeah, that's normal.
But like I said, it's all in moderation. So Alfie, if you want to tell them what we're working on with the lion's mane, it's unique because people will think about this as lion's mane. Everyone thinks mushrooms are very earthy, but the good thing is that they take on other flavors. So you can modify it using key elements or components to where you get the medicinal benefits from the lion's mane and from everything else in there without having the over earthiness taste of a mushroom. So a lot of people don't like the earthiness of a mushroom, and people tell you, I'm not going to try as far as the lion's mane or lion's mane soup because they don't like mushrooms. But once they try it, they enjoy it because where Adam, you didn't pick up on the coconut milk, but now you think back to it, yeah, there's a sweetness to it.
Yeah, there is. There absolutely is, and now I know why.
Yeah, that cuts that earthiness because a lot of times people are turned off by that earthiness. And then obviously different mushrooms are going to be a lot more potent as far as from a flavor profile, but also from a medicinal profile. So you got to get the right ones together to react. So Alfie, go ahead and let Adam know what's in the pipeline.
Well, Adam knows. I don't even know if you guys know that. Adam knows what's in the pipeline because he was my taste tester. He was actually the first taste tester we had on this. And that's that lion's mane tea I gave you last week, Adam. What did you think?
It's dynamite. It's got a good look. It's got a really good flavor. It's got a little bite to it. And then, like I was saying earlier, this unexpected energy that you could utilize. Yeah.
Well, what we did is we took the idea of the lion's mane and put together a tea. It's going to be a hibiscus ginger tea that is made with lion's mane and 4 other mushrooms and a bunch of other ingredients. And it comes out as a tea, and it's going to be packaged up. And this is something that we'll have out on the market probably within the next, hopefully within the next 30 to 45 days after we get all through the labs and, get all the nutritional facts and all the ingredients and everything set up the way to comply with the FDA. But it's actually a tea made with lion's mane. A lot of mushrooms are going in this. This has got a lot of mushrooms in it. But the great part of it is exactly what Chris is talking about. By combining hibiscus and ginger and a bunch of other ingredients in there. And again, these are all natural ingredients. We don't use any chemicals. We don't use any preservatives. We don't use any of that stuff that is all over the supermarkets now. This is all plants. This is all plant-based product.
And it's got a sweet flavor too.
Well, the sweet flavor comes from honey.
Right.
It's got honey in it. And honey is fantastic for you. Honey is the only food on the planet that bacteria can't grow in. It's a fantastic. It's been around thousands and thousands of years. Honey there's a lot of good things about honey. So that's why we put it in there. There's we work with scientists, we work with doctors, and they tell us what they think should go in, and then it's our job as a pure food company to figure out how to put all this stuff together and make it a viable product that people will like, and still holding to our core values of being plant-based, no chemicals, no preservatives, just natural foods, all pure foods.
Yeah.
Now, Adam, we're also working with monk fruit to
absolutely
for that sweetness. Because honey, it's fantastic, but from a manufacturing standpoint, it's not the easiest to work with. And as far as to make it attractive to all markets, the cost, you have to keep the cost down. We want it in there for the benefits of it, but we also want to pop that sweetness to get everyone involved. And when we may back down some on the sweetness, but that as far as having the monk fruit involved there, I think helps it a heck of a lot. Now, if you try this product, people will they'll look at it and they'll immediately look to the label because they want to see how much sugar's in it. And Alfie, how much sugar is in our Lion's Mane right now?
The soup?
No,
the tea.
The tea, I don't know because we haven't got the nutritionals back from the lab yet, Chris. That's what we're waiting on. But what you got to remember, the sugars that are in that are all natural sugars. There's no added sugar to it. So if you eat a spoonful of honey, the sugar you're getting in that is not like eating a spoonful of white sugar. It's all completely different. I think Sean could elaborate that a lot better.
Well, you got to understand, when you buy tea from the store, you're getting refined sugar, something that's going to stand the test of time. And, in the apocalypse, it'll be around. It's not good sugar, right? Honey's a natural sugar. These are natural sugars. So at the end of the day, your body processes things that are natural a little bit easier, right? Other than when you're using a chemical made sugar and/or a sugar that's been treated to last. That's the difference.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that, Sean?
Yeah, all I was going to say is that, the biggest point about it is, versus soft drinks and cereals and things that you generally say, well, cereal's healthy, but it does have 12 tablespoons of sugar in it. Is that we're not adding any additional sugar. It's just the flavoring and the components that we decided the ratios on. The naturally occurring sugars are there. So, you have your fructose, you have galactose, lactose, you have, all your different combinations of sugar. We're just trying to make sure that we bring it across in the most pleasantly appealing way, but in a way that's going to be healthy without adding to the caloric content. Everybody worries about calories. Everybody worries about fat. Everybody worries about sodium. We make the products so that they're stable on the shelves, in the refrigerator, that they're healthy and tasty without adding all those additional components or other chemical sort of variants into your diet.
Well, I know for sure this will be under 100 calories per serving, and the serving is going to be a 12-ounce bottle. So it's under 100 calories. I know that one for sure.
Well, I think Sean brought up a good point. If you think about fats and how people think about fat, well, there's good fats and bad fats. So you can have fat from bacon, or you can have fat from avocado.
Correct.
Just like this with sugar, you can have refined sugar, or you can have a sweetness as far as sugars from monk fruit or from honey. Mm-hmm. So which one do you want? That's the thing.
I agree. Listen, here's a fact about calories, and people don't realize this at all. It's not bad to have calories. You have to listen. You can't be an active person. You can't exercise, can't work. You need calories. Your body takes different things for fuel, and it depends on what you're doing, what activity. If you take a lot of calories and sit down, then you're in trouble. But if you're going to go out for walks, you're going to exercise, you're going to run, you need calories. So let's not discount calories. It's there, but having low calories in a drink makes sense in comparison to some drinks, again, like I said earlier, that will literally be around long after we're gone if you leave it.
Yeah, and again, I say this on every podcast, but people that don't know Adam is a world-class athlete, and I don't know if people know that, but he was, and probably if he really wanted to get back into it, he still could be. But Adam was a very, very world-class elite athlete. So I'm going to ask you a question, Adam. When you were in training, how many calories a day did you eat? Do you remember?
A lot. The answer was a lot. Because if you didn't, the gas tank goes empty. You're out of gas.
Right. When I saw him in college, I ate anywhere between 6,000 and 8,000 calories a day.
Okay. Yeah. How about Chris, when you were wrestling?
Oh,
they don't even let wrestlers eat. Chris was in the corner wearing Glad trash bags, spitting into a cup to lose 3 pounds.
Yeah.
At that age, I didn't have to worry about losing weight. I had to worry about putting on weight because I was swimming, diving, and wrestling. So I was swimming probably 10 miles before 7 o'clock in the morning before going to school.
Wow.
And then, but at that, you're constantly eating. And the funny thing is, when we talk about honey, is that a big thing for swimmers and divers, that performance athletes, and Adam, you probably know this too. We would have one of those. Remember those old sous vide honey jars?
Oh yeah,
squeeze things.
Yeah,
remember those? Yeah. Well, between meets and between races, you take one of those and literally just douse it. You sit there drinking straight, and we would do that for energy. and for the next race, but it would be gone. You're using up in a day easily. But
even when I stopped boxing, and I wasn't in a boxing gym per se, at one point I was working for Alfie at a restaurant, and every day I'd wake up, it's the same thing with me. I would wake up, I'd have breakfast, I'd hit weights, I'd hit the speed bag. I'd do that for a good hour or two. I mean, I would work up a nasty sweat before going to work. And then when I worked at Alfie, you're on your feet all day. You're putting, I don't know, Alfie, miles in that place,
Miles.
And I would walk to work. I didn't drive, because for me, they get out in the sun. I mean, so everything I did was geared around exercise, even after competition and sparring. Even when I was done, there was some sort of exercise in my life, and it's appreciated. Now, here's the thing about calories, and here's the thing about not having enough. Even when you're not an elite athlete per se, you go ahead and not eat a good breakfast, work out, and then walk to work in the Florida heat. You will realize what it's like to not have that gas in the tank.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
So, here, one more thing, by the way. So, Pete, look, I don't have a plant-based diet, and people that listen that don't have a plant-based diet, and I like my steak, I'm a carnivore, good. Guess what? I put Tomavita on my steak. It's great. I put lion's mane on my steaks, and guess what? It's great.
You're going to like it because we're going to have a new launch in the next couple months of another product that goes with any meat product, rice, breads, anything else that you want to put it on. So it's going to sort of be a ubiquitous topping for all those things that you're like, I'm not really good at cooking, but I want some flavor. You're going to take 1 or 2 spoonfuls and set your life on fire.
Yeah, we're going to use you. We're going to use Adam as our guinea pig, our test pattern, and we're going to see how much he likes this stuff.
Accepted. Listen,
so, Sean, if you want to go ahead and tell them what it's your mother-in-law's recipe, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, so we have a passed down in the oral tradition chimichurri recipe from the early 1900s from Argentina that we're bringing to the States under AHA Pure Foods. We've already demoed it for some clients, so we're looking to get the nutritionals, get it scaled up. But it's going to sort of pop you right in the mouth like Adam used to do with all the other people he sparred against. It's going to pop you in the mouth with a little bit of flavor, and it'll make those marginal chefs that are listening to the call or the novice chefs that are just breaking away from Hungry Man dinners. It's going to make you seem like an executive chef at a big restaurant. It'll dress up anything that you're putting as a side dish or as a main dish. Again, we're not trying to change you over to plant-based. We're trying to just make you eat healthier one meal at a time. So if we can throw a couple extra little plants with some healthy nutrients in it and a burst of flavor, we're going to bring that to a plate near you in the near future.
Sean made a very good point there that I didn't even realize. I thought about it when we putting a lot of these things together, but it just brought it up to the surface just now. He's talking about a chimichurri recipe from Argentina that goes back to the 1900s. Everything we do here at AHA Pure Foods, we do the way it was traditionally meant to do. We make soups the way soups were meant to be made. We make our chimichurris and the other things that we're doing. These are all old world ways of doing things. We're not inventing anything, but we're just going backwards instead of going forwards. Chris came up with a great saying, a couple of months back, that he'd rather eat something that comes off a farm than out of a laboratory. And it's absolutely true. We're going back to the days where, people grew their own vegetables and raised their own animals and taking those vegetables and creating something with that in their own kitchen. We're doing the same thing. We're going back to that old world style of cooking where we take the pure products and we combine them in a certain way. And that's where we come up. We're going backwards instead of going forwards when it comes to the quality and the nutrition values of our foods.
Right. Here's something else that's not being paid attention to, Mark. For the people that don't want, look, you don't have to be an all plant-based diet, so be it, eat what you want, but bear something in mind.
Absolutely. We're not here to change your life, your philosophy on life, Adam. You're absolutely right.
But here's the
We're
big
just here
thing,
to help people.
The big part of that is when you're eating a lot of meats, which hangs around in your colon for an extended amount of time. And when you eat a plant-based diet on the side of what you're already eating, it's going to help your digestive system and it's going to, and colon health. Like, you know,
absolutely. Meat, there is no meat, beef, pork, chicken, they have no fiber in them. So when it goes into your body and it sits in your body, and you know, it just stores it. And when that storage becomes too big, it becomes toxic. And when that toxicity becomes too overwhelming, it becomes disease. You know, I tell people all the time, I says, you're more concerned about clicking on a website and getting a virus while you're sitting there eating French fries and a Twinkie. You know, they don't care what they're putting in their body. They're more concerned about what they're putting in their computer. Right. But you're absolutely right. You have to, what's going in has to come out. If it doesn't come out, it's not good. It's not bad.
Well, it becomes toxic.
I think, and I don't know if I'm right on this. Your intestines can cover a football field. Every person has enough intestines inside of them to cover a football field. Think about that.
Yeah. Listen, I worked in radiology some years ago, and I had I wouldn't call it luxury. I was able to see through
luxury, huh?
I was able to see through imaging a lot of the stoppage in people, right? And that's mostly part and due to, you know, poor diet.
Absolutely.
You need vegetables. Look, it's a weird thing, this planet we live on. Everything here is provided for us to utilize. We just don't, or we did once upon a time. We don't anymore. But the point I make is, yes, hunter-gatherer. You know, think about what that means. You're hunting the creatures, you're eating them, you're gathering the vegetables to eat alongside of it. The fiber from the vegetables help remove. There are some pluses to meats. There really are. But here's the other side. You look at some of today's athletes that are on these plant-based diets solely. These guys are looking pretty immortal out there.
Yeah, they look pretty good. Now, Chris, your family was in the restaurant business back in the early 1900s. And, you know, you grew up in the restaurant industry. You know, do you remember the way that, you're Spanish. Do you remember the way that your family used to cook?
Well, yes. I mean, if you look at the restaurants, we used to make our own mayonnaise in restaurants. Not that that's a good thing, but, you know, we took pride in what we did and we knew what was going into everything. And now when you're outsourcing a bunch of stuff, you don't know what's going into it. I mean, you do by the label, but then there's so many misleaders on labels. You know, you don't know what all natural is great, sounds great, but it encompasses a ton of stuff. You know, all natural is not, to me, it's kind of like, and I don't like saying this as far as organic. We talked before about organic, and Alfie and Sean, you guys know my term that I coined was as far as being organic. Because 100% USDA organic is not necessarily 100% organic. One crop can be harvested in the exact same spot as the next crop that goes in with chemicals. Right. So is that next crop, does it have chemicals still in the ground? You might not use chemicals on it, but there's still chemicals in that ground, ground. So is it truly organic? Or is it organic? And that's why we like to say that we're more along the lines of sustainability as far as go ahead.
I think it's hard to get something organic today. You know what I mean? Like, think about it.
I think it is hard to get something truly 100% organic, yes. But what we use as far as one of our main partners out there is the Village is Grown. And they're state-of-the-art.
Whoops, there goes Chris. It's a state-of-the-art hydroponic farm located here in Central Florida. So instead of taking the chance of something being organic or not being organic, was there chemicals in there? There's chemicals that last down here in Florida, where we are down here in Florida. There's chemicals down here that'll stay in the ground for 60, 70 years. The residual on them, they don't go away. Hurricanes don't wash them away. Nothing. Go ahead, Chris. You're back.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yeah, no, Alfie, I know as far as cooking back in the days, we tried to get everything as local as we could. And this is going back to the first restaurant was 1890s. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'm not that old, nor am I as old as Alfie. Almost. Well, Alfie, you're not 5 years.
Easy. I remember when Cadillacs had fins. How's that sound?
I've seen them. But they're usually in auctions right now. and bring in big money. But yeah, it was all about what you could do with your surroundings and not having to rely on manufacturers. And I don't like saying that because manufacturers have done a really good job of controlling that. And as you've seen, whether it's the Food Network or any other one, they've opened up the eyes to the American public to say, okay, well, yeah, now I see that's not good for me. Now I see that's not good for me. Now where can I go to get something good? 10 years ago, you couldn't get something because it wasn't readily available. But now that the knowledge is out there, the demand's there for it. So people are starting to build more farms as far as sustainability farms.
Correct.
Not the organic farms, stuff like that. I'm not knocking them at all because they are doing a great job. But just something that's not, you don't have tomatoes that are pumped with gas to get them to harvest quicker. I mean, everyone knows these huge manufacturers out there, they have tomatoes. You can harvest them early and just put them in a room, pump them with gas, and it's going to ripen them. But is that really good for you? And back to what Alfie was saying before about, I'd rather have something from a farm than a lab. And nothing against synthetic foods, except for the fact is there's not enough long-term study to see how our body digests these synthetic foods. They may be great for losing weight, but what are the long-term effect of that? You know, I don't know. Some of these things that look like steak, taste like steak, act like steak. What is it? I mean,
you got to know though, the human body is a machine that understands what it's taking in, right? So if something's not natural, the machine's going to reject it. And how it is, we don't know yet. But it could be at the chemical level. It could be at the cellular. We don't know. So when I hear people make synthetic foods, look, I applaud you because there's billions of people to feed. We're growing out of control numbers, but you can't substitute something natural. It's not possible. I don't even, if someone asked me, what did I think an organic diet would be? I would answer on an island where it has not been touched by man, and I can hunt and gather on my own because it's unscathed. And that's not true because of the 40s. And listen, every nuclear weapon we've ever set off, every nuke ever set off and tested has touched this earth and is there indefinitely. But back to the point, there's no chemicals out there. We're not spraying for anything. So that's my idea of organic. It's tough.
You know, Adam, we have a mutual friend, Christian.
Yeah.
Okay. You've talked to Christian. Now, Christian is a chef that's scary talented. I mean, this guy's talent is way over the top. He worked on the Copper River in Alaska for probably about 15 years. And arguably the Copper River has the best salmon in the world. There's no place on the planet where you get better salmon than in the Copper River in Alaska. And he's even talking about how the Copper River up there, that things are changing up there over the 15 years where the salmon aren't running the same. Things are different. So that island that you're looking for probably doesn't exist anymore because he's pretty out there far remote. There's one town. There's one convenience store with a traffic light. That's all there is for like miles. And the place that he worked. But even some place like that in the outskirts in Alaska is still getting hit by all this stuff that's going on.
Yeah. And, I don't know how many, listen, you guys live in Florida. Look at the cold weather we're getting this year. Unheard of. And in November it was cold, right? And then you got in May there was some cold. So the earth is changing its axis. I talked to some scientists, by the way, off air.
Yeah.
And they're telling me that we're due for another ice age. So that's what it is.
Well, Sean's from Jersey. I'm from Connecticut, so this cold weather really doesn't affect us too much, right, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that it just gives more time for you to be active outside because you always complained about the heat. That's why you didn't exercise. So take the opportunity when the temperature drops to get out there and get a couple laps in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I go out no matter what. I don't care what the temperature is.
Yeah, you do. You always did.
Yeah, but I can't be isolated. It's crazy. So AHA Pure Foods, you guys have you're growing your vegetables here in Florida, right?
Most of them. The ones that hydroponically are able to. Yes.
So let me give you an image. You ever see the movie with Matt Damon when he goes to Mars and he has to recreate the atmosphere?
Yeah, he grows potatoes and human feces.
Yeah.
The Martian. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I think about when you guys talk about this. By the way, I have to come visit your place.
Oh, absolutely. You're always welcome to come and visit. We'll take you over to whatchamacallit. We'll take you over to the villages. and we'll introduce you to the people over there. And if you walk those greenhouses, it's unimaginable what
It's
people
amazing.
can do. It really is. The technology that's over there is state of the art, is as good a technology as you'll find anywhere in this country.
And that's what makes me feel good about your product versus going to buy a soup from, and I'm not knocking supermarkets, but when I see a soup in a supermarket, here's what happened to me, Alfie and Chris and Sean. I started learning about your product as you introduced it to me. I started looking at the soups in my pantry. And once upon a time, I was like, oh, I'm eating healthy. I'm having soup today. Until I realized what the hell it was I was eating. and then when I have Alfie deliver these Toma Vitas in these beautiful glass jars, and they look like your grandmother made them put it together, right? And then you look at these cans that are made to, again, be around after the post-apocalypse.
Well, so, hey, Chris, tell the people out there how a can of soup is made.
Oh, as far as the process going through it,
yeah, when the vegetables come in, let's use a minestrone soup. And it's going to go into a can with a label on it. Tell them how that process is done, because I don't think people realize how soups are made.
Well, we didn't do my previous life. We didn't can, but what we did do was we did mass production. So the vegetables that you're getting, most of it at that volume, almost have to be IQF. Individually quick frozen. So that product is going, when you're starting with a product that could be 6 months to a year to 24 months frozen prior to going into the finished product. And that finished product may be fresh, may be frozen. It still has another 30 days to a year on the shelf before you get it and consume it. Where AHA Pure Foods, our partnerships that we do, are like with the Village Is Grown. The Village Is Grown, for us to get veggies, think about like people talk about ahi tuna. Everyone loves ahi tuna because it's right off the boat. If you get the real ahi tuna right off the boat, nothing better. Well, our farmers are literally 15 minutes from our plant.
Correct.
So you take a product that goes straight from the plant and gets processed into our soups. And I hate saying the word processed because it's not what you want to use, but you have to. The process in manufacturing is cutting, chopping it up, burn mixing, whatever we're doing to put it into the soup. But it's 15 minutes away. So when someone says, "Oh yeah, I have the best freshest seafood out there," it was literally swimming a day ago. Well, our vegetables could have been picked on the same day that they're being put into your soups.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine that. I mean, it's a lot of management to go into it. But if you have the right partners and you have the right logistics, and right now supply chain is ridiculous. I mean, we can, like I said, but going at 15 minutes away to get your components. I mean, what more could you ask for?
That's like fishing, like you said. That's like being at the dock, catch a fish, fillet it, and eat it. Same process, right? And so when he's using the word processing, there's a process. You got to catch the fish, you got to fillet the fish, you got to throw the fish in the grill, then you eat it, and you don't share it with your neighbors. Right?
No, especially if you don't like them.
Yeah. Even if I like them a lot, it's my fish, right? Like my Toma Vita in this house. Yeah, don't touch my Toma Vita. So, yeah, listen, I hate to keep banging the drum on Toma Vita, but my God, what a product, man.
That was just something that I tell people this all the time. I said I was sleeping in a cheap motel up in up near our other facility. And I woke up one morning and it just struck me. Why aren't you making this soup? And that's as simple as it came. And then I passed it off to the smart people to figure out what to put in it. They told me what to put in it, and we created a soup.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, for these people, if they don't want to really, cross the bridge to the other side of the diet, look, take the Toma Vita, chop up some whatever ground beef, and make, that's what I did. That's what I do. I mean, by the way, I'm almost on the Toma Vita, Alfie. Fortunately, AHA Pure Foods, from our inception, we've been surrounded by extremely smart, dedicated people. Myself, Chris, and Sean are on this podcast, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes that really make this company what it is and keeping it on the right track. And we just partnered up with another company in Central Florida here. And the lady that runs it, it's called Prima Foods. The lady that runs this place, the FDA has told me that she is the smartest person that they've ever run into when it comes to
taking foods, putting them into a container of some type of, manufacturing, and putting it into glass or plastic or whatever she's putting it into. She's the smartest person that they ever run into. She's been doing this 40 years. And her big thing was that, she started out with they're called co-packers. Okay. You have an idea, you bring it to a co-packer, and a co-packer will take this idea, make a formula. Is that right, Chris? Formula? Turn it into a formula?
It's a recipe when it's on a stovetop. When you go into manufacturing, it becomes a formula.
It becomes a formula.
Right. Because, recipes, well, unless it's in baking, people take liberties with recipes. But formulas, there's a reason why we're strict on that, because back to what we're talking about as far as building that accelerator, making sure the right components are added at the right time to get the right reaction to perform the way we want to perform. So Alfie does a fantastic job at building the recipes and then turning them into formulas, because we reverse engineer things. We look at what's the end product. Okay, what do we want this to do? Do we want it to, as far as gut health? Do we want it for cognitive? Do we want it for blood pressure? Okay, that's what we want. Okay, let's figure out what makes that happen, and then reverse engineer it to where we have the flavor profile accepted and enjoyed by everybody. So anyone can put together something and say, okay, well, this is going to control your heart rate. This is going to control your blood pressure. That's great, but it's going to taste like crap. Pardon me. You might take that out. But
no. Listen, Chris. Here, I say this a lot. No one tells us what we can say. At any point, we have to.
Well, in that case, so all the stuff out there that you think that everyone thinks is all good for you, it's going to taste like shit.
Right.
But when you have a chef as talented as Alfie, and you have a scientist like Sean that can say, okay,
I'll tell you what, Sean keeps us in line. He really does. I don't want to say this in any derogatory way or anything, but Sean is a big 6'5" redheaded Irishman. And Irish, they're not on the top of the food chain. Bangers and beer, maybe some mashed potatoes and some, shepherd's pie or something like that. But those are all English
short lifespans, huh?
Yeah, they don't, but when every once in a while I'll call Sean up and I'll say something to him. He goes, "You can't do that. You're not putting that in there. No, you don't do it that way." No, and being having his PhD really keeps me in line. And then I have to change my whole way of thinking of how am I going to make this without getting off track of what AHA Pure Foods really is. And Sean is very, very good at keeping us in line and making sure that we toe that line and not sway off of it very much.
Well, that's a good thing.
Adam, I'll tell you what, if you put us all in a room together, we'll have to throw Max in here too, as far as our attorney. Put all four of us in a room together, or five of us now with you as well. I guarantee someone would be hard pressed to figure out who is who. Who's the scientist? Who's the chef?
Yeah.
Who's the CEO? Who's the attorney? And I can promise you that no one. I would bet money that no one would get it right. And I would say,
especially the attorney.
Especially the attorney, yes, who is actually a nuclear engineer as well.
Yeah, he is.
But he would. I'd put him in a room with 100 people, and I guarantee you, he's the 101st person you pick. You told him that's your attorney and he's a nuclear engineer. I guarantee you, that's the last person you pick.
Yeah, then you have someone like me in a room, sleeve tattoos, muscular, crazy looking guy.
Yeah. That's a local chef. That's a line chef.
That's a line chef.
They would pick you as a chef.
And probably right. Yeah.
Me, they look at me and say, "Oh, he can be the chef. I might be a little round."
A little.
But my wife says get in shape, and to me, round is a shape.
Well, that's the idea. That's the idea of the AHA Pure Foods, right?
Absolutely.
A little discipline. Look, a little discipline throughout the week with your plant-based diet. And then look, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Come Saturday, I'm going to eat nonsense. I got to eat some horse shit on the weekend.
There's nothing wrong with that, Adam. You can go out there and there's world-renowned doctors that are plant-based and vegan doctors and that are really strict on this stuff, and they'll tell you that if you have a craving for something, eat it. If you want a piece of pepperoni pizza, or you want a steak or a burger, chicken sandwich, or whatever it is, go out and eat it. just don't do it on a regular basis. Don't go to McDonald's for breakfast. Then go get something at Taco Bell for lunch, and then go home and eat a Swanson TV dinner. You just don't do that. It's not good for you.
Yeah, I mean, you could incorporate lean meats like lean fish, lean beefs, and with the I'm sorry on Toma Vita, man. That's
you've got a real man crush on Toma Vita.
I really do.
Hey, Adam, have you ever mixed that with some shrimp and put it over rice?
I'll do it.
Wow, it's really good.
You got to understand, you're a chef. I'm me. It's gonna go in the same pot. It's gonna get heated up. I'm gonna pray it comes out great. I'm gonna eat it regardless.
Okay.
Well, I think a lot of what we have to offer, and hopefully everyone listening to this will realize that everyone on this call right now is very passionate about what they do. And if you're passionate, it's going to drive you to be better at everything you do. And I truly believe that. Taking on projects like AHA Pure Foods, taking on new recipes, you've got to fully believe, you've got to be committed to it. And you have to be passionate about what you're doing and making sure that you're bringing the right products to the right people at the right time. And I think right now is the right time. It's always been the right time, but I think there's more focus on it now. People are more educated. People are more concerned about longevity. And I think from what Alfie's learned, from what Alfie's put into our products, he's doing everything to make that longevity possible. I go back to Hereditary. I lost my father. He was young. He was in the 60s when he passed away. My grandfather, and it may be part of the restaurant business and what we did before. But if you take care of yourself, you take care of your body, take care of what's going into your body, it's going to return the favor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm going to say one other thing about, for anybody listening to this podcast, I talked to a lady's name is Celeste over at Prima Foods here in Central Florida. And I was talking to her the other day, and she asked me to tell everybody out there that anybody out there that has a wish or desire to be able to do something, to be able to make a product, to be able to come up with a recipe and put something out there that's a really, really good product for somebody. She's willing to take that product, turn it into a formula, and try to help you get it out onto the market. Now, most co-packers, and Chris can verify this because he was in this industry. Most co-packers will tell you, well, if you want to do something, you have to do 100 to 500 gallons of this stuff at a time. She won't do that. If you're a small person or a single person, she'll actually let you do maybe 10 or 20 gallons of it just to see if you can help you along to get it out there. So anybody out there that has an idea that they want to put something together, get Adam, send Adam an email. He'll get in contact with us, and we'll be able to do it for you. That's how AHA Pure Foods got started. We got a break from somebody that helped us do something small. Yeah, we're just a small company. We're making soups in 5-gallon bucket, 5-gallon pots. I wasn't making 300-400 gallons of soup at a time. I was making them individually in 5-gallon pots. But we had somebody that believed in what we were doing and allowed us to do that. So again, paying it forward. That's what AHA Pure Foods is all about. Is helping people, and if we can help people, maybe make a desire or a dream come true, we're willing to do that for you also.
Yeah, and to what Chris said earlier, that computes more, recipe versus formula. Formula is exact, right?
And that
absolutely, it's got to be.
To add on to what Alfie was saying, if you think about it now, a big buzzword for tech and biotech and all that is incubators. And it's great to get business kicked off if you have an incubator. So Prima Foods and AHA Pure Foods is like the incubator for recipes, for those that are passionate about their product, know it's going to do some good. We're the incubator to get them to get them into that position to accelerate their growth and get their product to market much quicker.
Very good way of putting it, Chris.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, you're awful quiet. Are you over there eating sausage and peppers or something like that, or
double cheeseburger?
You got a little corned beef and cabbage on the side we don't know about?
He's got 3 kids. He's watching.
I have 3 kids to feed.
Yeah, I know you do.
Well, listen, before we close, let's ask. I'm going to ask one more question before we close.
Okay, go ahead.
Moving forward, what snack items is AHA going to bring to the table eventually?
Oh,
that's a big
I'm
thing.
going to use one tonight.
What? Not cigars, Chris.
No. The pestos.
What's that?
The pestos. I look at this as a snack item.
Yeah, the pestos. We have a line of pestos coming out.
Pesto. I'll have to try them.
The pestos are all. That's majority of that is all hydroponics. And a lot of this is coming out of the Villages Grown. This stuff is unbelievable. When I started making these things with their products, I went, wow, where was this stuff 30 years ago? I'd be on food TV if this was 30 years ago.
The pestos. I got to try that. I'm not familiar with it.
Well, I'm sorry. I let the cat out of the bag a little bit early, but
that's all right.
The way the demand is for the pestos right now, it may, depending on how many iterations we have between the Lion's Mane tea and the pestos may out accelerate the Lion's Mane tea, just because I think we've got to get the flavor profile dialed in perfectly, and the pestos are also involved with the chimichurri. And
absolutely,
we went in front of a group to try all the products, and the best thing is this is the hats off to Alfie. We showed a group. What was it? 6 products we showed them, Alfie? 5 or 6?
5 or 6 products. It was right, correct.
And I think it was 4 out of 5, 4 out of 6 of them. They said, "Don't touch it. Don't do a thing."
Right.
And understand, when you walk in front of a group, when you have the more people you have, the more opinions you have. So when you have a large group of people and you have that many opinions, and to have 4 out of 6 come out without anyone saying, with everyone saying, "Don't change a thing," that's incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been manufacturing all my life, and trust me, you can go in front of 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. You're going to be, you have 10 different recipes you got to come back with and modify it. But these products we put out, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, perfect, boom, perfect, boom, perfect. Okay, and then you have one, maybe a little more garlic, maybe a little more of this, maybe a little more of that. But it's almost like they felt pressured that they had to say something negative. I can promise you, if we only did 3 items at a time, we would have nailed all 3 of them.
Absolutely.
But when you show them that many, they feel they have to have some sort of comment to say, okay, well, we've got to modify this, we've got to modify that. But hats off to Alfie, and not that his ego is big now, because he's a chef, and a lot of chefs have big egos, but Alfie is not one of those chefs. He's very open to constructive criticism, and to those that we all respect. There's a lot of people out there that we can show products to, that you take their opinion and you're like, that's your opinion.
Right.
that's fine. It doesn't carry a lot of weight.
Chris, going along with what you're saying, Chris, the 4 out of 6 is like I tell people all the time: when you start with a superior product, you're going to end up with a superior product.
Absolutely.
You can't cheap it at the beginning and expect to have a superior product at the end. It doesn't work that way. So you start with the superior product, you'll end up with a superior product, and that's half the battle right there.
We had a lot of we did a lot of proprietary products for clients all over the country, and they would say, "I want this, I want that, I want that," and then you have to tell them, "So okay, we'll develop this product with your demands as far as what components you want in. However, here's what we suggest." And what we always suggested, and with AHA, we always suggest this: these are the partners that we're going to work with. If you want to use other partners, that's fine. But crap in, crap out.
Absolutely.
Good in, good out. You start with a great product, you're going to finish with a great product. You start with a crap product, you're going to get a crap product.
Yeah, to blow our own horn a little bit here, none of us on this call we really don't have the egos are gone a long time ago. But
speak for yourself.
Between myself, Sean, and Chris, just alone, we have over 70 something, almost 80 years of food industry experience.
Most of those years are Alfie's.
Yeah, most of those are mine. But it's having that type of experience in the food industry. And myself and Chris and Sean all agree on this one thing. It's not that we know more about what to do. We know more about what not to do. Right. We've made so many mistakes over the years in our industry that we know we can't do this again. When Chris came on board as our CEO, that was when we talked to the chairman of our board of directors, and he said, "What do you think?" I said, "This is the guy we want." I said, because the one main reason is he told me all the mistakes that he made in his business, that those are mistakes, we'll never make in AHA Pure Foods. And that's very, very important for people to know that even at home, when you're doing things, you got to know what not to do as much as you know what to do. And that's what makes AHA, again, I think one of the premier plant-based companies in the country, is we know what not to do. We know what road not to go down. Again, Sean will make sure we don't veer off of that. He's very much a disciplinarian when it comes to what we can and cannot do with our products.
It's like herding cats with those two sometimes.
Well, along with what Alfie's saying, you're absolutely right. It's what you've learned along the ways. Now, will we make mistakes? Yes. Every company growing will make mistakes. It's if you don't learn from the mistakes is the problem. But when you learn from the mistakes and make yourself better, is what makes a company great. And the companies that sit there and make mistakes over and over and over again, the same mistakes, they fail. Well, we can sit back, we don't have egos. So we can sit back and say, okay, well, yeah, that didn't work. But you know what? We learned from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, listen, Elon Musk is a genius, considerably. And he's made a bunch of mistakes getting to where he is, period. Right? I mean, he had things blow up, cars didn't work right, the rockets failed. But how do you perfect something without mistakes? It's impossible.
You can't. You have to. And all of this, what we're talking about right now might seem, well, what does this have to do with, me eating? Well, when you're home and you're cooking something, if it doesn't come out exactly the way you like it, don't worry about it. Next time, remember what you did. Don't do it again. Try something different, and then try something different. And especially if you're trying to change from an animal protein diet into a plant-based, and you're making this change, things aren't going to go right for you. And if they don't go right for you, don't get discouraged. Try something else the next time. And if you get really discouraged, contact Adam. He can contact me, and I'll talk with you one-on-one. Chris will talk with you. Sean will talk with you. We'll communicate with you, and we'll give you all the information over the 70 or 80 years that we have. We're willing to share all this information with people. AHA Pure Foods started out as a mission to help sick people. That's where we started, and we're still on that road right now. Anybody that needs help, we're out there willing to help them.
Yeah, listen, the message at the end of the day, you have a group of guys here who are there. They have an expertise in your diet, and all they're trying to do is help you beat the clock. That's the reality. You want to slow that. You want to slow that clock down and not meet your demise sooner. Alter your diet. There's some pathways you take, and what you're hearing again, people that have an expertise that they learned from their mistakes, that are perfecting it to make it easier for you. You don't have to make a mistake if someone's already made a ton of them and they perfected it.
Right, absolutely. Don't make the same mistakes we did. Right. And, Adam, you said the biggest question you get is about heart health.
Yeah.
I'm living proof that it can be done. I shouldn't have survived what I did. I had a great surgeon, got me through it. And then I had a lot of help along the way to keep me going. So anybody out there that has heart problems, heart conditions, blood pressure problems, anything like that, contact us. I'll be more than willing to help you in, those people with the heart questions. Give me a holler. I said I'll be willing to help anybody that wants to be helped. But you can't sit there and say I want to change what I'm doing, but I won't give up this, and this. Well, that's like saying I want to go into the ring, but I don't want to throw a left hook.
I mean, listen.
How far are you going to get?
These products aren't tasteless cardboard. They're actually really good.
These are good stuff.
Very flavorful. So much so that Toma Vita goes on pretty much everything I eat. Pretty much everything, So
is that a hint that you need more Toma Vita, Alan? I brought you. I got you half a gallon.
Yeah, I'm almost running low on that, Alfie. It's going in. It's going in everything. It's that good. I mean, listen. I don't speak on. I'm not trying to be a great promoter. I literally use it on everything. It's because when I have some, I'm one of these people. When I find something I like, I gotta have it. I gotta implicate it in everything. It's got to go to everything. That's just how I am. I'm pretty straightforward. I don't have a.
Adam's a straight shooter. You're not. There's no gray areas with Adam. If you hurt your feelings, it's like too bad.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't like something, you're gonna know it. You'll be the first one. It looks terrible.
Yeah, that's Sean's philosophy too. You suck it up. If you don't like it, too bad.
Well, gentlemen, it's been fun. I had a pleasure talking to you guys again. We're definitely going to do it again.
It's always a pleasure with you, Adam.
Hang the line.
Adam, I want to say, I do want to say one thing, and
Sure.
I like the credit that you gave to Elon Musk. He is a genius in his field.
Yeah,
in his field.
He's an alien. Period.
Put him in a kitchen. Put him in a kitchen. I promise you, the genius is Alfie.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, they call him Alfie Musk, right? Yeah, no,
There you go.
I sat at the benefit of working with Alfie, and I was well fed through the years, right?
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were.
Alfie will tell you this too. When I first started working at Jack's with Alfie, what was it, Alfie? Like 117 days, no day off.
Yeah.
That's right. Before
117 days. Yeah, something like that. 117, 119 days in a row.
That's when you really enjoy your job.
You're part-time.
Yeah. But man, it's been fun. And now we have, that anniversary's coming up soon. But we'll talk about that soon. Now, that's coming up. Gentlemen,
I do want to hear about the days of working with Alfie. Because I could just imagine how he was. In the kitchen.
You have no idea.
I could tell you now.
I've got time. Let's go to the next broadcast, Adam. No, I'll tell you what you see with Gordon Ramsay on TV, I was as bad, as not worse than him. I was
far worse. I was a complete
maniac in the kitchen.
It was different.
Really was.
Yeah, it was different for me. I got away. Listen, everyone that worked at Jack's couldn't stand me. I got away with hell because Alfie and I buddied. We connected pretty quickly.
Like within 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. So Alfie, for me, when you see Alfie back in the day, sitting at the bar, watching the highlights of the game, he'd have his little cigar outside every so often. But when it came down to crunch time in the kitchen, boy, you felt the tension in that room. No one wanted to make mistakes. And Alfie would sit there at the expo and just dead-eye people. And what a luxury Alfie had, because I had people in that place nervous, right? So
yeah, he did. Adam was a server, bartender,
busser. I did it all.
Enforcer. He was all of it, all that package, all in one.
Yeah. So when you hear Alfie, like I'll never forget this, Chris. There was a girl working one day, and so she comes out. This is like a thing we did at this place, like when you were new. But anyhow, I asked her to go to the kitchen when it was busy and asked for the mayonnaise slicer. And she looked at me. She goes, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "I'm positive. Now hurry up." And this is like during heat time in the kitchen. She'd walk in there and you'd hear the kitchen laughing from the front.
That's like the old trick of hand me the left-handed tongs. No, not those. I want the left-handed ones, not the right-handed tongs. Need a left-handed spatula.
So Alfie's wife, one day, I had this girl working there, and I said to her, before you close, you got to empty the coffee machine. Now the coffee machine's hooked up to a hose, right? It's an endless supply.
It's hooked up to the water line.
Yeah. So she's sitting there dumping the coffee out. I'm sitting there watching me, Danny, and a couple other guys laughing. And I'll never forget Carrie walking over. She goes, "Sweetheart, what are you doing?" She goes, Carrie looked right at me. It's like I just knew. She just knew.
So Carrie had you doing dishes the rest of the night, probably.
Oh no, Carrie's. Listen, you didn't mess with Carrie.
No. I was bad in the kitchen. My wife, her nicknames were Inspector 12, Mrs. Hitler. My wife was as tough a front of the house person as you could ever find in your life. There was no gray areas with her.
Listen,
none.
She would inspect silverware before every service, right?
I remember one of the restaurants, we were a very high-end eclectic restaurant down in Clearwater, Florida. She went around and it was about 160 seats in the dining room. And she would inspect those tables every night before we opened up. She found one glass with a little bit of, it was a wine glass. The tables had wine glasses on them. She found one glass with a little bit of a lipstick ring that was on it. She cleared off 160 tables and made them go around and repolish every piece of silverware, every glass, everything on that table because one glass was out of place. I watched that happen. That's a true story.
Carrie was. I'll tell you. I remember forget even the fine dining. Let's talk about Jack's. When Carrie walked into the building, attitudes changed. Right? People are like, "Oh shit," rolling extra silverware. Like again, I had a luxury. I got away with. In fact, I got away with too much there. Way too much. So, but it was
probably learned what not to do.
Yeah. But we had fun. Like it was a fun environment. You know, the New York Yankees were a part. What was it David Cohn and Billy Connors and Yeah, I mean, so it was a good environment. I've got to meet a lot. Like, I'll never forget, we had Steinberger for dinner once.
Yeah.
And he had all the Yankees in the room there. And every time, so I have a tattoo on my left arm, the Yankee symbol, right? New York Yankees. Every time Billy comes, like, kid, come here, show them the thing. My favorite experience, though, by far, was Frank Howard. Frank Howard was great. The home run king.
He was crazy. He had
tremendous energy, man. Like,
what a character he was.
Yeah, like the guy came in. I remember he signed a ball for me and Eddie, the bartender Eddie. He's like, yeah, you hold on to this ball because I'll be dead soon and there'll be money for you.
Yeah.
So your restaurant experience, was it here in Florida or was it actually up north?
No, all in Florida. God, no, I couldn't work up north. I'd be killed.
So you want to talk about a bad place to go into and start trouble? Adam was a professional boxer. Eddie was a Thai kickboxing champion.
Right. K1 too, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you walked into here and started trouble, you had a real problem on your hands.
I'll never forget John the bouncer, big guy John Gallagher.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, give me a shot in the rib. He's a big guy. What was he, about 6'7"?
Yeah, he was 6'7", about 290, 280. Yeah, he was a big strapping Irishman, man.
Yeah, he was a big dude, man. So one day he was like, yeah, just give me your best shot in the ribs I can handle. I threw a hook in his side. And later at night, he's like, oh, I'm pissing blood, you little shit. But he took it with a smile. I'll give him that to his credit.
So I know this is probably off the air. I know you're.
No, we're on air. Who cares?
So I don't know how we did it. I don't know if you ever went to one of our family restaurants, but back in the day when you talk about the Yankees, I have a picture of my grandfather, my dad, Yogi Berra. One of my grandfather's best friends was Al Lopez, and our place was the place to go during spring training. Is the Spanish Park restaurant out in Ybor City. We had from 1909 to 1990, so just a short run.
Yeah,
but,
really.
We tried to do what we did, but it was funny because we had a lot of the Yankees in there too. I have a bunch of memorabilia. It was fantastic, knowing that it was yes, we started out small. It was a 5-table restaurant, but grew it to 350 seats. So that's something to say. But during spring training, there's no other place to go but the Spanish Park. It was crazy. Yeah. Growing up in that environment, not being from up north and having the admiration for baseball that the Northerners did, like Alfie. We didn't have that. We had the Reds, as far as our home team. But as far as when everyone went to town, when they're in town from Lakeland or St. Pete, they always came across the bay or drove to the Spanish Park restaurant. So I had that run in with the baseball group too. It's really cool to have sports and great food go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it does.
It's a must, right? You got to be entertained. You know where that started from, right? Like the Romans and the gladiators, and that's where that comes from. You got to eat something good and watch a competition. That's never changed. That's why I said I had a recent conversation about just even our politics and our entertainment. Not much has changed since Rome.
No gladiators in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, other than we don't execute someone at the end of it all, we feast on maybe okay cooked food. Not much has changed.
You haven't been to a stadium in a long time, huh, Adam?
Forget it. I can't.
Although I hear you talk about Jack's, and when you have a restaurant that has to have a bouncer, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Oh, this place was insane. It had an outdoor tiki bar. It had bands. I mean, you'd get any kind of character you could imagine would walk into that place. It was always running on the edge.
We had some guy used to pull up to the dock on the side in this V8 engine boat. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
It's like wealthy. And I remember thinking to myself, like, isn't the tide going to go out? And it does, because there the tide goes clean out. And so I sat there watching at the side of the restaurant, like, and it's not slow, Chris. When the tide there goes out, it goes. And
I know.
And his boat guy sat there flat on the ground. He didn't even care. That guy didn't even care. So that's there's a difference between rich and wealth. Rich you could lose. Wealth is indefinite. It's two different worlds. But anyway, gentlemen, we're going to close out. We'll definitely do this again. I look forward to it.
It's always a pleasure with you, Adam. Thank you so much for allowing us on your podcast.
Anytime, guys.
Adam, thank you so much. Much appreciated.
Not a problem, Chris. You guys take care.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.